You've got to master yourself first before you can master your world. You can't rule a kingdom if you can't rule yourself. Hey, everybody, you know me. I'm Dr. Martin Williams. I help purpose-driven leaders discover, develop, and deploy their divine assignment so that they can reign in life without losing themselves. And today, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to teach you one of the most important principles of the King's Code, and that's self-mastery. You can't rule something that doesn't have regulations. You can't be the king of something that's in disorder. You can't have power over something that's in disarray. And I'm not talking about a system. I'm not talking about a business. I'm not talking about a family. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. If I'm trying to rule something with the crown on my head and I have no principles, I have no rules, I have no regulation, I have no system in which I'm leading my life, I'm really not a king. I'm a poser. I'm a person who wants to be a king. I might be in training to be a king, but I'm not a king yet. I'm not regulated. Neither are you. And that's why we help one another. Does that make sense? Once we do that, once we understand that regulation is so important, we start uncovering this secret in our lives that will bring us the harvest that we're looking for. Self-control is the first throne you will ever sit on. Someone told me that years ago. Martin, self-control is the throne, the only throne, or the first throne you will ever sit on. Discipline doesn't limit your freedom. Discipline, it sort of licenses your future. When you become very disciplined, now you are free to be free, because now you've chosen freedom, and the definition of freedom to you is discipline. I am free when I eat right. I'm free when I tell the truth. I'm free when I exercise. I'm free when I stick to my principles. Question for you. If you've ever struggled with consistency, focus, self-management, discipline, share this message. Share this message. If you've ever struggled with it, share this message. Because kings lose kingdoms not through sin. They lose kingdoms through slackness, slowfulness, unpreparedness, unregulated lifestyles. That's when it happens. There are cameras everywhere and you may not even know it, but you slip up in a moment and now everybody knows. But discipline says those are just things I don't do. Those are places I don't go. Those are people I just don't deal with. That's discipline. You and I need it because we're kings. So discipline now defines your dominion. Say it with me. My discipline defines my dominion. One more time. My discipline defines my dominion. The first realm every king must rule is themselves. Dominion doesn't start with the people or property or business. It starts with the personal mastery of the leader. Adam did not lose Eden because of an enemy's strength, but because of his own appetite. You got the wrong appetite, and all the enemy has to do is give you an opportunity. But God gave Adam boundaries before he blessed him. He told him, this is where you live. This is where you eat. This is what you have control over. This is what you don't have control over. You may eat freely, but from one tree you shall not eat. God always has boundaries for discipline. He always has boundaries to set you in so that you become self-disciplined, right? So boundaries are a blessing in disguise. Freedom without form becomes failure. So discipline is the invisible wall that protects visible destiny. Discipline is those gates, those parameters, those limits, those things of control, those automatic systems of control that's on your life. They control your life. But what those disciplines do, even though they are invisible, those disciplines create a visible world that you love. Adam's lack of restraint caused eviction. Adam got a knock on his door. Him and his wife Eve got a knock on the door. And when they opened the door, there was no one there, but there was a sign on the door that says, "You have been evicted. Be out of this apartment, be out of this house by 12 noon. You know what I'm saying? You have to get out because you weren't disciplined. You weren't restrained. You didn't have things you did. The boundaries you were told, you never obeyed them. You got to go. Samson's mom and dad, everybody told him, stay away from those people, especially this girl. He couldn't do it. He didn't have the discipline to do it. He didn't have those walls. He didn't have, these are some things I don't do. These are some of the people I don't do them with. It's going to give me a bad light, give me a bad reputation. But he lacked the restraint, and it turned his strength into shame. All of us have had opportunities to be shamed. All of us have had opportunities to do something that doesn't fit the character of the king or a king. All of us have been tempted in ways like this. Who were the ones that did not fall for the temptation? You know who they were? It was the people who had a rule. They had a boundary. They had things they just would not do. Even if they knew it was going to feel good to do it, they just wouldn't do it. Those are the people who win because they have systems, boundaries, they have levels, they have doors they never open, they have places they don't go, they have types of people they never hang out with. That's who you and I have to be if we're going to get to the next level. That's where things change. They lose their dream. They lose their dream because there's a lack of order in their life. Every day I work on this. Every day I work on order. What I do, when I do it, how I do it, who I do it with. Because the crown on my head, the crown on your head doesn't fit when character isn't formed. The crown is put on your head because your head represents the character of your life. And when our character is off, the crown is off. It's crooked, it's sideways, it's leaning in the wrong way, front, back, up, front, side to side, whatever it looks like. It looks weird on our heads because character is not right. Ask yourself this question. What appetite keeps you? Ask yourself this question. I'm going to turn it around. What appetite keeps me from my authority? What thing am I engaging in that keeps me from my true authority? In other words, for those of you who really want to work this out, what things am I doing that brings shame so that I cannot get the authority I'm called to? What's that one big thing I need to change? I need a boundary, and I know it. It's how I eat, who I hang out with, where I go, how I think. What's that one thing that if you changed, it would, that boundary now would give you success? Where do I keep compromising consistently in my life? If I'm compromising consistently, I'm either a king in learning or I'm a king in falling. I'm eventually going to fall. I'm eventually going to fall apart, or I'm going to eventually grow to the next level, because you can't cast out a habit. You can't cast out a habit. You have to discipline that habit. You have to come up with different disciplines in that habit that change your life. I brought this, it was on the shelf behind me, and I was explaining to Brandon, who's helping me shoot this and helping it get ready for you. And I was telling him about this baton. This baton taught me in track. I ran college track. Everybody thinks that track is a team sport. It is when you add all the numbers together. But my job was to pass this baton to the fastest guy on the team. Back in the day, it was the 880 and the 200 or the 100 or the 200. My leg was the third leg. My job was to be consistent at giving this baton to the fastest guy on our team that could always get us to win. I had certain disciplines that the other people on our team did not have. I had to carry this around to class with me. I carried it everywhere because I had to practice. I had to practice getting this into his hand so that he could win races for us. He was an amazing, fast, very powerful runner, but he liked his baton handed to him in a certain way. So I had to discipline my life. I had the discipline. I had to know him. I had to know how he ran. I had to know everything about. I had to study him. I had to study every race. I had to study our competition. It's not that all the other three racers didn't have to do that, but I had my special part of discipline. I had to discipline myself so that I would get this baton into their hand. You are no different. You are no different. You have got to be disciplined. You've got to have principles. I have to wake up early in the morning just to practice. Just me on the track field about my markers. When does he want, within that limited space of time, 7 to 10 yards at the time, when does he get his baton? What's his body language when he gets his baton? See, I'm describing discipline. I had to get up early. I had to eat well. I had to study him. I had to study myself. And I also had to not just work out with the team. I had to have separate workouts. But because of that tone and tenor in my life, I got a scholarship just to do this. Am I making sense? In the same way, you and I have to be king over our disciplines. Being king over our disciplines makes us excellent. You cannot rule. You cannot take my crown. I'm the third leg of the relay. No one else is taking my spot. Why? I'm going to be the only guy at this university, the only guy at this campus that knows how to get this baton to our leader. You got to know and understand what disciplining yourself, how that changes your life. Go ahead and subscribe and watch the next video.